So we have some major breaking news once again with the Cleveland Browns, who somehow continue to create headlines despite being one of the worst teams in the league. The AFC North had a big week. The Bengals losing in the fashion they did was kind of crazy, but the Browns are now dead last in the AFC North, and the gap continues to get wider and wider. The major news that I will be talking about in today's video is that Stefanski announced that Tommy Rees will be taking over the play calling. I honestly really did not expect to see that happening this season. I'm not saying Kevin has a big ego, but it does seem like he always refuses to change things even if they're not working. The trade deadline is tomorrow at the time of this recording, and still nothing has been done. It's been pretty quiet in Cleveland. I've actually heard from inside sources that the Browns might not be selling anymore, which is pretty insane to me. Cedric Tillman will be returning. That's some pretty big news for this offense that has struggled to even score 14 points in a game. Deshaun Watson could be due to return to the practice field in the next few weeks. It's embarrassing to me that he's still in the picture, but it's a real thing happening that I've got to talk about. Joe Flacco also threw for 470 yards against the Bears in Week 9. That could have been the thing that pushed the play calling sheet out of Stefanski's hands. So basically what I'm trying to say is that even though this season has been going down a horrendous path, there is still so much to talk about and so many things going on. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so starting off with the big news, Tommy Rees will now be taking over the play calling. This is something that was kind of talked about and up in the air since like week 4. Everyone was growing tired of Kevin Stefanski's offense. Obviously, it was not all completely his fault, but still, he calls a boring offense, he does not implement any creativity, and when you have no talent and a boring offense, that is the recipe for scoring 14 points a game on average, or whatever the actual number is. I don't really care. It's awful. Now for Tommy Rees, this is honestly kind of a sucky situation for him because there is no way he is going to magically be able to fix the problem when you have a 5'7" quarterback that can't even see over the offensive line. He's also not that mobile. He can't throw the football over 20 yards. He is being handed a business that is doing negative $20 million in revenue and is being asked to turn it around in just 8 weeks. I do expect to see some changes, like getting Quinshon Judkins more involved every game, getting him more carries, getting the tight ends the ball more. Even Jerry Jeudy needs to be more involved. I know he is awful, but still, he has shown flashes through his career of being a guy who can get over 100 yards receiving, but Dillon Gabriel just can't find him. And I've actually watched some of the film over the last few weeks, and yes, the receivers have not been the greatest. They do not separate, but we cannot say they are never open because that is not actually the case. Dillon Gabriel just can't find them. Now, I will say Tommy Rees does give me a little bit of hope in making this offense at least somewhat watchable because Kevin Stefanski really was that bad. I know the Bengals have 2 of the best receivers in football in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and the Browns have nobody, but still, it's the Bengals. They are not a good team, and we just saw 41-year-old Joe Flacco breaking records, throwing for over 470 yards. I can't believe the defense sold them that game. For Flacco, he completely switched his problem. Over here, he couldn't move the ball due to having 0 weapons. Over there, they are scoring 40 a game, but they can't win because of the defense. But still, him throwing for 470 yards tells you all that you need to know about Kevin Stefanski's offense. He should have at least been around 200 to 250 a game in Cleveland, but he was barely even hitting 100 yards and was not throwing any touchdowns because the Browns were only in the red zone once a game. So I'm glad Kevin gave the play sheet up. Next on my list of to-dos is to make Jim Schwartz the head coach, but that is a conversation for another day, I guess. Anyways, now moving on, let's talk trade deadline. Earlier last week, everything was hinting toward a David Njoku trade, but now things have shifted away from that, and it seems like the front office wants to hold on to their top contributors. Honestly, I'm 50-50 on this. Njoku is on a contract year, and this team sucks, so I do think getting anything you can in return is a good move, but at the same time, if you don't keep some of these players, I'm not sure how you make it out of this season alive. I mean, literally, whoever is behind center will have nowhere to throw the ball to. It will ruin Shedeur Sanders whenever he gets a chance, and because of how deep in the waters the Browns are, because of the Watson contract, this ship is not going to get turned around for a few years anyways. They can't even begin to rebuild for yet another season. So I understand not wanting to just throw away a guy like Njoku for nothing when he has been one of the few bright spots since 2016. I do think Njoku is a bit overrated. Obviously, you can't fully judge him when he has not seen consistent above average quarterback play since Baker in 2020. So it's a weird spot for the Browns. I would not be mad if a trade was made, but also if the deadline passes and Njoku is still on the team, that's fine as well. I'm more focused on what's next at quarterback than all this other stuff. And speaking of that, Kevin Stefanski at his latest press conference announced that Dillon Gabriel still will be the starting quarterback heading into next week's game against the New York Jets. And I'm just going to say it, major L by him, major L by the Browns. It's a terrible decision. Any other successful organization would have said, hey, this Dillon Gabriel thing has not panned out. It's not working. He has shown us no signs of having any sort of ceiling. Let's use this bye week to prepare Shedeur Sanders and give him 2 weeks to get up to speed with the offense for the New York Jets game. A team with 1 win, a team that also can't seem to get anything going. This would really be the perfect situation to start Shedeur Sanders off with. He probably could even get a win. That would boost his confidence a lot, which is super important for young quarterbacks. But nope, Stefanski is going with what doesn't work. The Browns will win this game 12-10. They will give themselves the worst pick in the draft, and they will keep Dillon as the quarterback for yet another week. And I'm sorry for being so pessimistic, but we all know that is what's going to happen. And to make things even more hilarious, on top of everything else that's been going on, I've been seeing the name Deshaun Watson pop up again because the Browns will have to make a decision soon on what to do with him. Because there's a chance to get him back out on the practice field and give him a 21-day window to practice with the team before returning to the field. It's frustrating to me that he is even still on the roster. The Browns should have cut their losses a year ago, but we knew this day would come, and here we are. And if the Browns decide to give him even 1% of an opportunity over Shedeur, I really think Browns fans are going to lose their minds. Now moving on, let's actually take a look at this upcoming game against the New York Jets, because it certainly is an interesting one. I know I've talked about how losing is the best option because of draft position, and it probably is mathematically and like on paper if you're looking at things from like a Madden rebuild perspective, but at the end of the day, losing is never the best option. It's a bad mindset, and the Jets do nothing better than the Browns. They're probably the only team that is in that position. They don't even know what quarterback to put out on the field. It will probably be Justin Fields, but we could see some Tyrod Taylor. This is going to be a low scoring game. The Browns defense is going to need to score points, and I don't mean literally score, but they at some point in the game are going to have to cause a turnover that positions the Browns on the Jets side of the field. I really do feel like we could see another multi-sack game out of Myles Garrett. I expect him to come out playing angry and like he has to do everything in order for this team to win. I think we are going to see check down Gabriel back at it again. Hopefully one of the playmakers like Judy can break one loose for the first time all season. The Browns will need an 100+ yard game out of Judkins. He actually has been dealing with some injury stuff, but as of right now I have no reason to believe that he won't be out there on the field. It's a very weird time in Cleveland right now. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Should it be Shedeur time? Are you happy with Tommy Rees taking over the play calling? I'm very curious to hear what all you guys think, and all your comments are greatly appreciated because I am still trying to rebuild my algorithm ever since my copyright stuff that I've been dealing with. It's been a rough journey. I know the views have been low, but I know we can get back to where we were over the summer. So thank you all for your support. Please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, I will see you all later.